Welcome back everyone. This is going to be part 14 here, and you can see behind me here the shop looks pretty empty, and that's because I moved all of the track chair parts to behind me, which I'll show in a second, and to make room for the trailer to back in. I'm going to start loading this. We've got a snowstorm that's supposed to start tomorrow. Could get I don't know, 12 to 18 inches of snow is what they're talking. We'll see. So I don't like loading trailers into snow. I want to make room, get that thing in. So I repositioned everything, reloaded some pallets and stuff, and have things kind of in the order that it's going to go in the trailer. So this is actually a split pallet. That's going to go right at the very front of the trailer with all those swing arms for the suspension. That's going to go in first. Then the track chair main frame, that will go in, roll in on these nice rollers I made a while ago, you know. And then the ramp assembly unit, that'll slide in to the middle of the track chair frame there. So that'll go in there. And then I repositioned a bunch of parts onto this pallet right there. The orange pieces are the engine cradle stuff. Then there's the roll hoop for the ramp assembly, along with a bunch of other miscellaneous large parts. That'll slide in over here at the front of the frame, which is basically near the rear of the trailer. And then we've got a few miscellaneous boxes over here of some parts. Then those can stack in around and any gaps left over. I also got the roof sheet metal right here. Haven't really showed that much in previous videos. So we've got that, and then the windshield frame right there. So that's the plan. I've got a few sheet metal parts that we'll talk about later that I need to finish. They're not very many. So we're gonna get to it. Next step here, I'm gonna get that snowmobile out of here and get the trailer backed in before the snow starts, and then we can work in our leisure here in the shop, and hopefully we'll update later as we start loading the trailer up. So alright, so behind me I've got the trailer all backed in. I've got it tilted, ready to open up here. Before we start loading stuff, I've got this pallet. This is all the boogie swing arms, and I've got them arranged on there how I want them. The problem is the way I've got them is they could slide around during the trip to the Powdercoater. It's about 70 miles there. A lot can happen in a trailer on interstate. So need to come up with a packaging solution to keep these things held down nicely, both before powder coating and after. So I've come up with this solution right here. It's a 2 1/4 inch hole cut in a 2x4 there, and then I think it's 1 1/4 inch there. And what that does is I want to protect this bearing shaft here. We protected that during the welding process, and I want to protect it during transport as well, both before and after powder coating. So we're going to finish cutting all these 2x4s. I need 8 of them. There's 8 of these units here. So I'll cut out all those 2x4s, screw them down to the pallet so they can't move, and then I can strap them together. And I'm doing that over here on the mill. I've got there the 2 1/4 inch hole already punched through, and then I'm set up here on the mill. Digital readout for the spacing. So I just pop them in there and knock that hole in quick and easy. So that works pretty slick. So I'm gonna get back to it and get those done, and then get it screwed down here to the pallet, and then finish strapping the rest of those miscellaneous parts down, and then we can start getting those on the trailer. So behind me here, I've got the trailer back end opened up. This is something I did quite a while ago, and it's conduit hoops inside here. I'll show you a quick view of that. And then those are 1 inch conduits, by the way. Plywood front sheeting, some of the front angled area there. And then these are used billboard tarps, vinyls that I used to make the outside of it. It's held up quite well. I really like that. Got some real thin plywood laid down there for the ramp, and we're gonna go ahead and get this pallet in. I've got it all buttoned down nice and tight. This is how they'll go to the powder coater, and hopefully how they'll come back too, maybe with a little more protection on some of the things. But fits nice, should hold. Now we just got to get it all up there into the trailer. So here we go. All right, got those 2 pallets loaded there. They just as I figured, I got them all nice and snug right up there in the front. So that's fits nice, a lot of parts, and still leaves a ton of room left in the trailer for the rest of this stuff. So, all right, next thing, main frame is gonna roll in. I got a couple more things here on this side. I just got to disassemble, and where that blue tag is, there's some spot welds that I need to grind off, smooth off, and then this will be ready to go in there. Okay, I got these sheet metal side pieces all done now. There's a total of 3 per side there. Most of the work was drilling out and replacing self-drilling screws with actual weld nuts and 1024 screws, like we can see here. Various little tabs like this, again being actual tap for a screw. Self-drillers work great for the first time, but if you have to put them in and out a few times, the drill end tends to wallow that hole out and make it unusable. So rather than gamble on that, I like to replace those and make it nice. So now I can blow these panels back off, touch up any burrs that might be remaining on that. And then we're going to roll that frame up into the trailer and start getting that situated for transport, which then allows me to load some of the rest of this stuff. So let's get to it, guys. Alright, so I got the main frame with the roll cage up into the trailer here, and now I'm in the process of getting the jack stands to take the weight off of these pneumatic caster wheels, which also keeps it from shifting around while we go down the road. And then next step will be here to get it strapped down so it can't move off of the jack stands. And then in this open area right there in front, this ramp assembly will go in next, and then after that will be this big pallet full of that stuff. I got to finish getting that strapped down so that can hold in, and then that'll go in the end, and then we can stack some boxes in around that with the small parts. So let's get back to it. Alright, I got the ramp assembly all packaged up. I made a special little pallet here out of some 2x4s, 2x6s there. It's leg bolted down there in the front 2 corners, ratchet strap over the top, and the front flippers are stacked there, along with some rub rails and a chunk of conduit that's for wire routing in the cockpit. And it's all strapped down, ready to go in. So next up, we're gonna tilt the trailer again, get our real thin wood there to help guide the pallet jack rollers up and in there, and we're gonna shove that right up in there into that frame. Alright, so there that pallet is, tucked up in there. It got it back there as far as it would go. It's hard to see here with the limited light in here. Fits right nicely where I wanted it. And so next, now we've got to get this monster pallet of parts buttoned up so that they stay on there good. And then that one will go in next, right behind that one. Alright, so I've cleaned up this monster pallet of parts. There were some window frames on there. I hung that on the actual roll cage and strapped them in place. A few of these parts you can see I bolted in the upright position, roughly where they actually go, but actually backwards, to allow room for where that wood cross piece goes to hold this ramp frame on. And screwed the sprockets actually underneath there to the pallet, and then hung the safety bar there off of kind of off the brackets. There's, of course, other brackets in a box. They're just bolted in place here just to hang it out of the way. And now I'm ready to take the pallet jack and get this puppy up there into the trailer. Alright, so I got that big pallet up in there now. Pretty happy with how that fit. Right up in there. It's hard to see, I know, on the video here, but it's snugged up there, and it's right up end to end with the next pallet there that I'd put in there previously. So that fit well. Got 36 inches there from the back end of that pallet to the end of the trailer, just over 36 inches. Got to figure out if I'm going to use a pallet or just stack the rest of the boxes in there. So that'll be the next task here. So there we have it. I've got the last of the parts all loaded. Here in the boxes is all those small parts that I've shown before. There's some external larger sheet metal pieces there that we can see. That little box sandwich in there has got a ton of parts in it. This bigger box here has got quite a few of the other sheet metal parts, firewall, internal cockpit, some of those types of things. I've got a few other boxes scattered around, stuffed up in there where I could keep them protected. Otherwise, basically got everything loaded. Just need to finish strapping everything down so it doesn't move. And then we'll be off and on our way to the powder coater shortly. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. That'd be great. And we'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully next time you see these parts, they'll have some color on them. So anyway, thanks again. Catch you guys later.